let's get into the Lions' schedule because this was the topic of discussion. It seemed like for much of sports talk, people, things. Okay, let's just go through it. All right. Week 1 Packers, week 2 or I'm sorry. Let me get home and away here. Week 1 on the road taking on the Pack. Week 2 home opener taking on Chicago. Then on the road against Baltimore, back at home for Cleveland, on the road Cincy, on the road Kansas City, at home Tampa Bay. Got the bye week in week 8. Come back home, take on the Vikings, go on the road to take on the Commanders, go on the road to take on Philly. Then you're back at home for a 3-game stretch. You got the Giants, the Packers, the Cowboys. Then you got the Rams on the road, the Steelers at home, and then back-to-back road games to end the year against the Vikings and the Bears. Date and time to be determined for the Bears game. And the talk of the town, it seemed like, was, oh my gosh, the Lions have the hardest schedule in the whole wide world. How are they ever going to survive? You're just gonna. They're just gonna be worse. You're just gonna have to accept the schedule's harder. They're just not gonna. Okay, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Okay, you want to get on my nerves? This is how you get on my nerves. You talk about how hard a schedule is before the season starts in the NFL. Get out. Okay, get out. The reason I say that is not because I think this is the cakewalk of cakewalks, but because I don't know how hard this schedule is going to be because I don't know who's going to be good. I'm old enough to remember when going into last year, I was told, hey, it's going to be hard to win 12 games next year. Green Bay got better. Chicago got better. Minnesota got better. And you're going to have to play some mobile quarterbacks. You're going to have to play I don't even remember who we played. You're going to have to play Josh Allen. You're going to have to play CJ Stroud. You're going to have to play these teams. Some of them got mobile quarterbacks. Some of them got weapons. I'm just saying, don't be expecting 15 wins. And look, I'm not expecting 15 wins. Nobody expected 15 wins. All right, nobody in their right mind expected 15 wins. But here's the thing. When people sit here and they say, okay, you are just the homer of homers if you think this team can win 13 or more games. Why? Why is that being a homer? The team just won 15 games after getting a division title schedule, right? Like they won their division. I don't know if you remember that. They won their division, so they got a harder schedule. Now they got a number 1 seed division winner schedule, which is also hard. Here's the thing. We are also very good. Like, it's not like, we're 3 years ago and we got to play, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. No, we're like them. All right. You know what they think? People in Baltimore are thinking, gosh, we got to play the Lions on Monday night. I know they got to come here, but man, Lions are scary. Or the Chiefs, same deal. Packers probably like, man, we got to play at Detroit on Thanksgiving. Oh man, that could be tough. To act as though it's one-sided completely, that we just are getting completely screwed by the schedule, or that because the schedule is much harder than it was last year, looking back, or it appears to be much harder, that means that absolutely the team is just going to, I don't know, win like 10 games. I don't know how many games they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to win more. They're probably not going to win more. They're probably not going to win 15-2. Probably not going to happen. But I don't know what their schedule, how it's going to end up being, because Cincinnati hasn't done a whole lot for their defense. That game could end up being a cakewalk. Cleveland, they don't have a quarterback, ostensibly. But, Baltimore, that's a team. Lamar Jackson, he's very good, but he's been injured before. Like, you don't know what your schedule really ends up being like until it just plays out. Jaden Daniels had a great rookie year, but I'm old enough to remember when CJ Stroud had the greatest rookie year ever. And what did we do? We went to his house and we beat him. It's May. So to get up in arms and say, oh my gosh, the schedule is so hard and there's no way this team is going to be as good. You need to be able to accept that they might have a worse record, but be a better team. I don't know. And maybe we will have a worse record. Well, probably we will have a worse record. If we go 16-1, then I never want to hear about schedules. Probably not going to happen. All right. Probably not going to happen. But this team is good enough to win 12 plus games. This team is probably good enough to win 13 or more games. You play the teams that are in front of you. You know, are the Chiefs still this absolutely unbeatable force? I don't know. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is very good. Didn't look very good in the Super Bowl. Like last year, would the Lions have beaten the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Potentially. Like, I don't know. It's just, I understand the sentiment, and I understand that, you know, it's never easy. All right. There's no game where you go into it and you're like, okay, there's 0% chance the other team is going to win. There's always a chance. You know, you go back and look at some of the broadcasts. I was nervous at points watching the Jaguars game. You look at the final score of that game. I don't think there was any shot. Same will go with some of these other teams. You know, maybe the Cowboys game at home, maybe that'll be a little bit closer than the one last year. Maybe the Buccaneers game. That game was much closer. We ended up losing that game. Maybe that game ends up being a blowout. I don't know. Nobody knows. That's the point. It's fun to talk a little bit of schedule. It's fun to get excited and say, hey, how many wins do you think this team is capable of? Look, I don't care if if you randomize their schedule from teams in the league, they can win any game against any team. They're that good. So to get up in arms and to freak out about the schedule, one side or the other, to say they're like the best team ever, they're not going to lose any games, or they're going to take a massive step back and, oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard. Have you seen Jalen Hurts? I think both of those approaches are wrong. The correct approach is, man, we got a lot of primetime games. Hey, we're going to have a lot of games with a lot of eyes on us. Why do we play on Christmas? Now, that's ridiculous. That I won't stand for. 2 holiday games is way too many, all right? That's too much. But look, the Lions also get a lot of rest. According to, you know, the measure, they get a lot more extra days of rest in total. You know, the schedule is what it is. You're going to have to play the teams that are in front of you, and you're going to have to play good teams in the playoffs if you want to win a Super Bowl. Might as well start playing them early. So, should be a great season, hopefully. But I don't know. People get very animated. I just got animated talking about the schedule. So, you know.
Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.